Welcome everybody on this stormy Monday night. Thank you for taking the time to come and visit with us, and hopefully it will pour for the next hour and then be done and be passed through so you guys can go out and not get soaked. But my name's Leah. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator here at Truth Family Chiropractic, and it's so nice to meet you all. So I don't get to see many faces in the office since I'm out and about, but again, welcome to the Inflammation Reset. We just love to educate and uplift our community with just education on health and wellness. And I just want to start the night off with a little joke. Who likes jokes? Yeah? So has anybody been in an argument with one of our doctors before? No? Oh, yeah. One person. All right. Well, why don't chiropractors ever get into arguments? Anybody? Because they always got your back. And they got your back tonight. So you're going to hear some amazing information. So, and I know that they've helped me in my health journey, and they're going to help you too. So without further ado, Dr. Miller and April.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. All right. Am I on? That's a good question. I hope so. Am I on? Can't say. Okay, I'm on. Yep. All right, well, welcome to the Inflammation Reset. We're going to go over a bunch of stuff on omega-3 fatty acids and why it's good to decrease, downregulate the inflammation process in your body. Inflammation is the root of all disease, really. If your body's inflamed, it's not going to work correctly, and we want to feed it the right nutrients so that the body can function the way God intended you to. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We'll have a lot of different things that we're going to be talking about, but one thing that we're doing tonight that we've never done before is we want to do a study on you guys. We've never done a actual kind of scientific study where the nutrition company that I work with, they sent us a whole bunch of omega-3 indexed fatty acid tests. Prick your finger and you put it on a piece of paper, send it in, and they're going to give you a number on what that omega-3 index level is, and then take the omega-3 fatty acid supplement for 3 months and then redo it. So that's something that I'm excited about, to see what those numbers are. I want to see what those numbers are and how much better people get and how much, what they feel also. So we'll be talking about that. We also have April here has put together a deeper in-depth blood lab that's going to test some of the inflammation panels or inflammation markers in a blood panel. We'll talk about that also, but let's get started. Okay.
All
right.
Okay. So inflammation. What is inflammation? What does it feel like? Anyone? If you have something inflamed. What's that?
My eczema.
Your eczema? So what does it feel like?
It itches and it hurts.
Okay.
Like fire.
Okay. So you like fire? What else?
Pain.
Sometimes heat, like you can feel heat radiating off of the inflamed spot, right? So that's a short-term response to like an injury, right? So that's our body's natural defense for injury or infection. When it becomes a chronic problem, that's when that fire won't go out, and that's when we have a chronic issue, right? So that's our health impact would be arthritis, autoimmune conditions, disorders, fatigue, brain fog, and then just pain.
So what's the difference between an acute and chronic? So if I go outside and I fall off the curb and sprain my ankle and it blows up on me, that's an acute. So what the body's very smart. It's going to take, the brain's going to say, open those blood vessels up to that ankle. We're going to bring a whole bunch of blood to that area and a whole bunch of healing stuff to that area. In your blood, you have like eosinophils and basophils and lymphocytes and monocytes. Anybody heard of some of that stuff? If you get a CBC, that's always listed on that. But there's also a whole bunch of other different markers in your blood that's going to cause inflammation too. And if it's an acute, our bodies are designed really good for acute situations. But it's the chronic stuff that's when things start going haywire. And all these chronic conditions that start happening, the autoimmune stuff, heart disease, cancer, diabetes, all of those things are caused by inflammation. And when it's chronic health conditions in our country right now and in our culture, chronic health conditions are skyrocketing, and even in our children, 50% of kids have chronic health conditions. So we want to get to the root cause of the problems, and the chronic stuff, if we can calm the fire down, and so that chronic stuff isn't always there, that's our goal. That's what we want to help you with, and anybody that's dealing with chronic stuff, but also, how to heal faster when you get an acute injury too. If I break a bone or sprain my ankle or, getting hit in the head or something, whatever it is, I want my body to heal faster than normal.
So some common causes of chronic inflammation. Poor diet. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. What types of things do we want to look out for that cause inflammation, and what type of diet is going to be anti-inflammatory to keep those from being a cause of inflammation. So sugars, processed foods, bad fats, we're going to dig into that a little bit more. Sleep issues. So if we're chronically disrupted in our sleep, or we're not sleeping soundly, we're not having a full night's rest, or we wake up feeling tired still, that's going to cause inflammation too, because when we're sleeping is when our body goes through the different phases of detox, our different organs through different times of the night. So if you've ever met with me before and you're waking up at the same time of night, I'll be like, well, what time is it? Pay attention to that, because our body goes through different parts, detox throughout the night. And if you're always waking from like 1 to 3, for example, that's liver. So your liver is having a hard time doing its job, and there may be some inflammation. That kind of gives some clues. So sleep issues is definitely something that disrupts that recovery time that we should be getting at night. Then our body is able to do all those, go through all those detox processes. And then toxic exposure. So environmental chemicals that are causing burden to the body. So if we're eating foods that are covered in pesticides, if we are constantly being bombarded with EMF, with heavy metals, medications, right? That causes our liver to have to process those out, and any toxins that are included in that. Vaccines, right? So there's lots of different ways that chemicals that we're exposed to. Even sometimes we're doing it to ourselves. Like we're in a toxic soup because we're putting all this stuff on our body, all the lotions and perfumes and all of that. If those are synthetic, and those are absorbing into our largest organ, our skin, right? So those are the types of things that can cause inflammation, and we could be doing it to ourselves. So learning what types of toxic chemicals to avoid, and things that we can avoid ourselves by making better choices, is a way that we can help lower our toxic burden to ourselves. And then subluxation, so nervous system interference.
Yeah, so chronic inflammation, we talked about some of this already, but heart disease, inflammation leads to atherosclerosis. That's where the hardening of the arteries comes in. Autoimmune conditions. Our bodies are not designed to attack itself. That's not the way we're born to be. Autoimmune means for some reason your own immune system is attacking the tissues in your body. Okay, not normal, but very common in our culture. So rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, lupus, ulcerative colitis, digestive issues, diabetes. Inflammation triggers insulin resistance and damages blood vessels. I have a really cool study on how the omega-3 fatty acids actually regenerate some of the pancreas tissue. So really good stuff. Brain health linked to Alzheimer's disease, brain fog, chronic fatigue. What's the brain made of? Fat. So you have to put good fat in the body. All your nervous system, every cell in your body has fatty acids in it. And then digestive disorders causes stomach pain, bloating, GERD, irregular bowel movements. And then it gets into the ulcerative colitis and all this other stuff in digestive. And there's a cool study that on the omega-3 fatty acids that how it promotes, if you take good fats or eat good fats, it promotes those bacteria in your GI system to proliferate. It keeps the bad down and the good up in your gut. The gut's like, I use the grass, for example. It's going to rain tonight, it looks like, but if it doesn't rain for a while, what's the grass turns to? Brown. But what still grows? The weeds. The weeds still grow. I was just picking weeds yesterday, and they grow so darn fast. And that's what happens in your gut. If you don't get constant nutrition in that GI system, the weeds start growing. And the bad bacteria, the parasites, the pathogenic stuff that we don't want in the GI system.
Kevin, quick question. What's GERD?
GERD, it's a GI condition where it basically eats something and it comes right back up. It hardens the esophagus, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we got some good studies here. So heart disease, and we're going to be talking about the omega-3 fatty acids. So there's omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA. Everybody heard of those? A lot of people. And then there's ALA. So EPA and DHA are fish-based, fish source. Does anybody love eating fish every day? Yeah, good. We got some fish eaters. That's good. I'm not a huge fish eater, so I take supplements to replace it. But you can also get ALA from plant sources. I know we had some chia seed drinks coming in. That's a good source of ALA, plant-based fatty acids. So what this one is, it was all on EPA and DHA. So this was a really good study. So when I prepare for this stuff, I like to kind of go into the research and look at what, not me, what everybody else, all these smart scientists are looking at. But they had omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. There's several studies in here, but significant 18% relative reduction in vascular death, defined as cardiovascular heart disease, stroke, or vascular causes by taking omega-3 fatty acids. 18% less. Pretty good number there. This one, some of them are dose dependent. So this one is on 4 grams per day. Reduced cardiovascular disease, myocardial infarction, non-fatal stroke, and chest pain, angina by 25% by taking 4 grams of omega-3 fatty acids a day. And this one was cool. Significant risk, 30% significant risk of all the heart issues, and a 2.6 risk reduction in all-cause mortality. So anything. So it reduces all-cause mortality. Another 4 gram per day. This one was cool because they gave it to people after they had a myocardial infarction. So after a heart attack, they had, let me find the percent, 6 months after myocardial infarction, they found less scar tissue in the heart by people that were taken, and this was 4 grams of omega-3 fatty acids a day. So less scar tissue, the healing happens faster after you take that. Inflammation is another one. So we talked about the regular white blood cells in your blood, but there's also all those other ones. Tumor necrosis factor, 59% reduction after taking 8 grams. So this was a really high dosage, but 8 grams of omega-3 fatty acids reduced tumor necrosis factor. Interleukin-1 was down 39%, and 44% for interleukin-2. So another one that came down. So pretty good stuff. Those are the chronic inflammatory markers. And then we always talk about that you want to be on this index, the omega-3 index, you want to be over 8%. All right. So if you're lower than 4%, it increases your congestive heart disease risk. If you're above 8%, it reduces it by 35%. So that's why we're doing the test. We want to find out exactly, okay, where are you guys at? If you're at 3, guess what? We want to get that up to an 8, because that's going to reduce your risk by 35%. So that's why we want to find out. Everybody knows their cholesterol numbers, and with the cholesterol numbers, they were at 350 was high, and now they're down to 180. They just keep lowering the bar because they want to give you more statin drugs. Now, I'm not saying statin all the time. If you shoot way up, that they're bad all the time. But statin drugs, there's a huge study done overseas that the people that had the highest LDL levels lived longer. So it's like, that just doesn't make sense to me. We're giving everybody all these to lower that, but people with higher LDLs are living longer. So I think this is a good number that we want to get this out to people, because if they know their omega-3 index number, it's going to reduce their risk by 35%. You know, to be healthier through that. So the whole conclusion of this was there is clear evidence of multiple studies that dosages of 2 to 4 grams of EPA and DHA are going to reduce multiple cardiovascular infarctions or cardiovascular diseases. So pretty good thing to take. And it's pretty simple and inexpensive to take. So another one was on weight loss. Who wants to lose weight? A lot of people, almost everybody probably. Weight loss. This was a big one too. And this was only about a gram of omega-3 fatty acids. Abdominal fat mass and percentage decreased more in the omega-3 group than the control group, you know, that didn't have any omega-3s. So abdominal mass went down. Omega-3 supplementation augmented the reduction of abdominal fat percentage and percentage in overweight individuals. So another good thing. If you want to lose weight, add that in. There's when people want to lose weight, there's brown fat and white fat. Brown fat is actually, it does burn energy, but when you get abdominal fat, that's usually white fat, and so that storage of energy. You want to have more brown fat or the good fats that's going to actually burn more fat in your body. So it seems counterintuitive that you have to eat some fat to burn more, but that's the way the body works with that. And then the last one we'll go over is omega study on children with ADD. So we see this a lot in here. Just parents are looking for different options with their kids on hyperactivity and behavior. And this one talks a lot about the hyperactivity, and this one was done like it was in Spain. But what I didn't know, I learned something on this, was when they give them the drugs, the Ritalin and all the treatment for the ADD, 20 to 40% of those kids, they don't respond at all to pharmaceutical agents. So that surprised me. I knew, some kids that they don't respond and they get like real tired or fatigue or it just changes them, but I thought that was very interesting. So parents, if they have that, or if you know somebody, like, try something different first, because they might not even respond. A third of the kids they're not even responding to those anyway. So, but what they found out was all clinical trials showed improvement in attention, and ADHD symptoms. So those behavior kids, and they only did 1 gram of omega-3s, less impulsive, that controls ADHD kids. So yeah, I think that's a good option too for parents that have hyperactive kids.
All right, so here's where we're going to dig in and look at the foods that you might be eating. So sneaky sugars and oils. This is the hidden sugar name. So when we're buying food and we look at the back of a product and we see a long list of ingredients, half of them we don't know what they mean because they're not like real words, right? They're chemical compounds and makeups. So, those are some of the things that can sneak into our foods that we don't even realize, like, oh, we think this is a healthy thing, and then really when you look at the ingredients and you dig in, you're like, oh, this is not actually all that healthy, even though it may be marketed as a health food. So some of the things you want to look out for is like agave, high fructose corn syrup, rice syrup, fructose, glucose, dextrose, all the oses, right? And then that's not even the full list, right? This is just partial list. Inflammatory oils, which are going to raise your omega-6 index level, right? There's omega-3s, omega-6, there's a lot of different omegas. We want to have a higher omega level than omega-6 level because that's the inflammatory oils and inflammatory foods. So canola oil, soybean oil, vegetable, corn, sunflower oil, safflower oil, those are the ones that we want to avoid because they're high in omega-6s. And then what they do is they cause cellular damage. So it causes harmful changes within the cell and creating oxidative stress and also disrupting hormones. So the one thing I want to tell you about this, though, too, is that it can be hard to manage, right? So we say, like, okay, shop the perimeter of the store, right? But if you do need to buy things in the middle of the store, if you have to buy something and it has, a long list of ingredients, an easy way to do that without having to memorize the whole list of toxic ingredients is to use like the Bobby Approved app or the Yucca app. Those are a couple that we all use that just makes it a little bit easier for us to manage, all those things that we're trying to avoid. And an anti-inflammatory diet. So we want you to eat more berries, more leafy greens, our wild-caught fish over farmed fish, right? Because the farm fish, they're being fed a diet that is not natural to them. They're also a lot of times putting antibiotics in with them, so we don't want that. Avocados, walnuts. We want you to avoid those refined carbs, the seed oils, and the list that I talked about, processed snacks, conventional meat and dairy also. So a lot of times I feel like meat gets a bad rap because they're doing these studies and they're like, oh, you should be a vegetarian because, meat's causing all these issues. Well, one thing they don't really talk about is, well, what kind of meat are we talking about here? Like there's farm-raised eggs, chickens and free-range chickens and turkeys, and we want our meat to be grass-fed. And so we want to be looking at that. And, our seafood needs to be the wild-caught, right? So there's a big difference between just conventional meats and conventional dairy, and then like your raw dairies, your grass-fed and free-range animals. And then spices. So we want you to add in things like turmeric and ginger and rosemary. I have a huge herb garden at home, and I try to figure out ways to add all those into, even if I just throw it on top of a meal or something. Because those, a lot of those herbs have a really good help with our digestive system as well. So like parsley and cilantro, those have great benefits to our body. So we want to be adding those in, and it adds a lot of flavor to our food too. Let's see. And then lifestyle reset. So we also want to be moving daily, right? And it doesn't have to be 2 hours at the gym, coming out drenched in sweat. I mean, that's great if you're doing that, but I don't want people to feel like that's what they have to do in order to get in some, good exercise. Yoga, walking, strength training is great to prevent osteoporosis. We really got to keep our muscle going, and building muscle actually helps our bones. So that's really important, and those are some, easy exercises and things that we can add in, and just getting some movement in daily to help benefit. And then prioritizing sleep. So we want to make sure we're getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and then if that sleep is disrupted and it's not great, then let's figure out what's going on. Let's make sure we add in some things like magnesium and things like that, and looking at the anti-inflammatory foods. What are we eating that could be possibly disrupting our sleep? Are we drinking coffee up through 2 o'clock in the afternoon? Maybe that's keeping us up. You got to dig into that kind of stuff. Hydrate well. So make sure that we're drinking lots of water and that your water is filtered as well. Filtering our water, make sure we filter out some toxins that may be in there, fluoride, chlorine, all of those types of things. So we want to make sure we're drinking plenty of that. So you want to shoot for half your body weight in ounces. If you are drinking coffee, that's fine, but it's a diuretic, so you got to make sure you add in a little extra water to combat, that coffee. And then managing stress, so doing things like breath work, spending time in nature, prayer, things like that is really going to help lower our stress level and will help with that inflammation as well.
Oh yeah. So we'll talk about nervous system here, because the nervous system is controlled by, or is fed by your fats that go into the system. One thing on the omega-6s, the average, so omega-6s are essential for your body too, but we get bad ratios. The average American has over 30-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. So that creates that chronic inflammation. It should be between 3 to 4 and 1. So that's why bumping up the omega-3s and reducing the omega-6, some of those seed oils and bad fats, they're not bad, but we got to just close that ratio down. That's going to make a big difference. So what's your brain made of is your fats. Okay, that's why eating the fats are very important for neurological function. And I know most of you have probably heard this 10 times, but I know we have some guests in here, so I just want to run through why the spine and the nervous system, it controls everything. So brain sits up here, the skull protects the brain. If you get a concussion, what's going to happen? That brain hits the side of your skull, you're going to have damage. When the spinal cord comes down through that spinal cord, you have the vertebrae that protect the nervous system, the spinal cord, but these nerve roots that come out between each vertebrae, there's a nerve that comes out, and if you get out of alignment, so you have you're going down here and you get rear-ended, by somebody at the stoplight here on EP True, what's going to happen? Those vertebrae are going to get misaligned, cause a whiplash injury. That's going to affect these exposed nerve roots here, and that's what the subluxation does. And when you get that subluxation in your spine, sub is less than, lux is light or energy, and then ation is a condition of. It's a condition of less energy. Anybody want less energy or more? We want more. Yes, that's more. Let's get more energy. And when that happens, when you get out of alignment, that's when the nerves start decrease function. It can cause pain, but it can affect all your organs. It can affect all your muscles. And over time, it's going to decrease the function of your body and decrease that healing ability, because your nervous system is what controls. When you put the good fats in, it controls where it goes. It controls all your organs. It can control your gut and how to process. So we could eat, totally organic Mediterranean diet, fish all day long. But if there's a subluxation right there at T8 and that goes right to your stomach, and your stomach's not digesting it, and it gets in your small intestine and doesn't get absorbed and it goes right through you, is that doing you any good? No. You have to have the properly functioning nervous system in your body, so that everything else that you do, the nutrition, the exercise, the sleep well, everything else that you do perfectly is going to work a lot better when the nervous system is functioning at a healthy level. Because that's what, our goal, we want people functioning and healing at your highest level all the time. And so it seems like it's overwhelming, like you have to do all this stuff, and it can be. It can be, like, especially if you're not doing it right now. I know most everybody in here, like, they're doing awesome and perfect, but it's still a lot of work no matter what. And one of the most important things about your health is your health, because when you're healthy, you have many wishes. But when you lose that health, what's the only wish that you have is one, to get that health back. So invest in your health. It's an investment. It always is. We invest in our houses and cars and all, everything, but put yourself number one. The most money you should put in is you. You deserve it. Because when it goes, that's when you'll spend every dime you have to try to get it back. So that's what we do, Dr. H and Dr. Cade in here. That's what we're looking for when you run the tests. We look at nerve scans. We look at the function of your nervous system. We look at structure. We look at those X-rays. And we want to monitor your progress as you go to make sure that you're functioning and healing. Why do most people come in? Because there's some sort of pain problem when they come in. But we want to switch your mindset into, okay, let's take care of your whole body, not just get rid of the pain. That's very important part of your health. But your organs and your muscles are very important too. So, if guests in here, if you are not getting checked or getting adjusted, we'll have an opportunity for you to take some action on that if you're ready to do that, so we can get your spine evaluated to see if there's any issues going on, because we want to make sure that body's functioning and healing at your God-given health potential. So symptoms that can happen when you do get the subluxations, these are just a few of them. Headaches is a major one. I had probably 10, 12 people today with that one alone. Reflux. Again, you eat something and it comes right back up. That's not normal. Poor sleep. Sleep is when you heal at night. At night, if you're hurting or if there's something wrong in the spine and you're not sleeping, that's going to affect your overall health. Skin issues, fatigue, allergies, getting sick all the time. Nervous system controls your immune system. So we talked about some of those immune cells. Guess what else helps those immune cells getting adjusted? That keeps those immune cells high. Numbness, if you get any numbness, tingling in your fingers or down in your legs, that's always a sign of nerve dysfunction. And then brain fog. Sometimes that brain just doesn't work correctly. Those are all symptoms that can happen when you have subluxation in your spine. That's me,
That's
right?
you,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Okay, I gotta get my slides right. Omega-3. So these are the omega-3 fatty acids. So I want to talk about the omega-7s, 9s, and 11s. So this is a great product, a new product on the market that they've added in those other ones, the 7, 9s, and 11s, into the product. And you don't see that in any other product. It's always DHA and EPA, which is very good, and ALA, which is the plant-based source. But this has the omega-7, 9s, and 11s in there. And so the omega-9s and 11s come from, anybody heard of a pelagic fish? So again, I'm learning stuff like you guys are. That's where they're sourced from. They're called, the omega-9s are called, not the big words, gondoic acid, and omega-3s are acetolytic acid, if anybody's wondering that. But why lipids are so important? Every cell in a human has lipid membrane holding the cell together and controlling the passage of molecules in and out of the cell. So that lipid layer is controlling in and out. So it gets waste out of the cell, brings nutrients into the cell. Source of energy, all your hormones are fat-based. Lipids prevent us from drying out and are essential for vision and brain development and brain health. So what it helps with, skin health, drying out. Anybody like to be dry? That skin? No. So that's what oils. It's funny when people lay on the table and the face paper sticks to them. They're always like, "Oh my God, I got so much oil," and I'm like, "No, that's really good. Oil is really good because just like your car, if you run out of oil in your car, it's going to blow up. Same thing with your body. Like I want that paper sticking to your face when you come off. We got to peel that thing right off. That's a good thing. Where do you get it? Where do you get these omega 9s and 11s from? Mackerel and herring are two good fish sources for that. One thing it did was the omega 9s and 11s. It increased the ratio, that omega 3 ratio, just by adding those two in, the 9s and 11s, adding that in to your omega 3 supplement. It increased that ratio went up by 2 points by adding those two in. So that's why you only put those in there to increase those. Anti-inflammatory effects. So what's tonight about? Decrease in inflammation, and have effects on adipose tissue, which is fat tissue, right? Decrease in fat tissue in your body. That's always a good thing. And then we get into the omega 7s. This one, there's a lot of research on this one, but it helps with metabolic regulation, genetic expression, cellular metabolism, immune function, and inflammation. So omega 7s are good. I talked earlier about the pancreas. What it does is adding that into the supplements, into your diet, it increased the beta cells in your pancreas. Beta cells produce the insulin, which is a vital substance that you need in your body, a vital hormone. And that actually, they took weights on animal studies. They took weights of the pancreas, and they actually increased because the beta cells increased, and so it secreted more insulin out into the system. Pretty cool. So it helps your pancreas. Which metabolic disease is insulin? Let me find my good. Here we go. So omega 7s, metabolic effects, carbohydrate metabolism, and weight management. So it's going to help when you do have sugars or carbohydrates, it's going to help process them better. Anti-inflammatory effects, cardiovascular health, regulation and homeostasis, so just keeping your body healthy. Skin health, and mucosal membranes, so all your sinuses and mucous membranes in your mouth and nasal. So good stuff on the omega 7s. All of those together with the omega 3, the omega 7s, the omega 9s and 11s. A whole bunch of numbers there, but they're all good. And I'm excited to see what the changes are in you guys.
Awesome. All right, so like Dr. Miller talked about earlier, if you are interested in being part of our first ever in-office Omega study, then we are going to be giving free test bundles out. So you'll get one of those today. along with your 3-month supply of omegas that are available for purchase. And then you'll come back to meet with me so we can go over your results. You'll get your anti-inflammatory meal plan, and then I'll give you that second test. And then at the end of the 3 months, you'll take that second one, and then we're going to compile all the results and let everyone know. You'll get your results, but we'll let you know how everyone did in the study, so you can see how results were across the board.
This is Bill.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Dr. Bill Harris. He started the omega-3 index. So they take the fatty cells in your red blood cells. That's how they measure it.
Oop. Sorry, I was trying to pause it, but it didn't let me do it.
Right.
Is it going to play
Uh-oh.
now?
Did I mess it up?
See if I can get it to play now. No, it's not playing.
Go back one more.
I'll go back one more and see if it'll work. There we go.
There we go.
all downstream. One of the most remarkable things we've discovered in our research is that the omega-3 level is a stronger predictor of risk for bad heart outcomes, shorter life, earlier death, than even a risk factor like cholesterol. The brain is one of the richest organs in omega-3 fatty acids in the whole body. Our laboratory has done a lot of work recently on omega-3 and dementia, particularly Alzheimer's disease. And we found that people who have the highest omega-3 levels, and we looked at this at several populations, have the lowest risk for developing Alzheimer's disease or overall dementia over time. And one of the most common questions we get is, what's the best way to test your omega-3 level in your body? We developed a test we call the omega-3 index, and the omega-3 index is simply the amount of EPA and DHA in red blood cell membranes, which are circulating, of course, in the blood. And we analyze the red blood cells because they reflect the composition of other cells in the body. We've set some targets based on our research. An optimal level of omega-3 in the red cell and omega-3 index of 8% or higher is a great place to hit. It's uncommon. Maybe only 3 to 5% of Americans at this point have an omega-3 index at 8% or higher, which is a shame. There's a lot of room for improvement. On the other end, what's a really bad omega-3 index would be like under 4%, and then somewhere in the middle, 5 to 6%, which is where the average American is, somewhere in the 5% level, is pretty common. It's pretty easy to fix a low omega-3 index simply by eating more EPA and DHA, whether it's from fish or from supplements. Something in the neighborhood of 1,500 milligrams or 1,000 to 1,500 milligrams of EPA and DHA per day will take most people from a 5% up to about an 8%. But you really don't know if you're getting the right or the optimal amount unless you test it some way.
Now you can test, don't guess. You only use simple home test.
All right. So this is a sample report, just so you can kind of see what it's going to look like. So this is what you'll get. You'll get a level somewhere in the range. 4% is going to be high risk, so that's very common among Americans, probably especially among Iowans, right? Because we're landlocked. We don't have fresh seafood unless it's flown in. And then 6% is pretty average, so a typical omega-3 with the standard American diet. And then 8% is optimal. So that's where we want to go. That's our target rate with the lowest heart disease risk at 8%. So 8 to 12 is where we want to be on that scale up there. Yes, you, Doc.
Yep. So we talked about the omega 7, 9, and 11, the components that are added into this product. And EPA and DHA, we talked about that, reduce skin inflammation and sun sensitivity. So it helps your skin, world of lipids, prevents us from drying out, vision and brain health, very, very important in the nervous system. Inflammation, fatty acids are incorporated in every cell, like we talked about, and down-regulates that chronic inflammation system. So that's probably the most important, that chronic inflammation down-regulates the production of those inflammatory cytokines, the tumor necrosis factors, things like that. And then, so what we're measuring is your red blood cells to see how much fat those fatty acids are in your red blood cells, and then that'll give us the heart score. So greater than 8%. We want to be greater than 8%. That's the goal.
All right. So Doc also talked about an inflammatory blood panel that you'd be able to do as well. So on your check-out sheet, I'll go over that a little bit more in detail at the end. But here's some inflammatory markers that are going to be included in that. That you can decide to do some extra markers as well if you're wanting to do the study, but you also want to look a little bit deeper at some different markers. HSCRP is high sensitivity C-reactive protein. That one's just a look for general information. So that one's a liver-produced protein in response to cytokines in the body. HbA1c is that blood sugar. So HbA1c is going to be looking at glucose, insulin, how your body regulates that over a 90 to 120 day time frame. Because glucose and insulin changes all the time, right? Whether we eat, when we're fasting, all of that. But this is going to look at a longer time frame to see how your body's regulating over that time frame. Vitamin D is also really good to see as well. So immune function, we're going to be able to do that. We also have vitamin D. If you're just interested in doing that, that'll be something you can add on as well. It's on your sheet. And then liver enzymes. So looking at the AST and ALT, which is metabolic health. So we're going to look at those liver enzymes as well and see that those are in a good, healthy range as well. And then with that blood panel will come some consults. So you'll be able to sit down with me. I'll look at your markers, go through those with you, and we'll come up with a protocol to help get you in the optimal ranges. And then supplements that can help decrease inflammation. So we want to talk about that as well. So the omegas, obviously we've talked a lot about the omegas tonight. But we also want to talk about a few others. So curcumin. So that comes from the turmeric root. So adding turmeric into your food, but also if that's not something that you really like, then also doing it in supplement form too, right? Because you're going to be able to get more and more concentrated amounts in that supplement form. So curcumin is another really good one for decreasing inflammation, also really good for pain. And then boswellia, which if any of you guys are into essential oils, frankincense. So that's where that one comes from, and that's a traditional anti-inflammatory as well. And that's something that you can inhale, you can diffuse it in the house, you can take it internally, all of those. Some other helpful things are green tea extract. So drinking your green tea, but then also looking for products that have green tea extract in them. Magnesium, probiotics, collagen, and D3 and bromelain. So those are some additional things that are help decrease inflammation that you can add to your arsenal. And then I just want to go over our June inflammation challenge. So this is what we're going to be doing. If you're feeling foggy, fatigued, puffy, this one's for you. What's included is an omega-3 pre-test, right? You take your test home, you mail it in, hopefully within the week, because we want to get those results out right away so we can get you back in to kind of look at those results and where you're at right now. So month 1 after your testing, you begin omega supplementation. You schedule your consult. Once we get your results in, I'll reach out to you and say, hey, I've got that ready to go. When can you come in and go over it? So we'll book that, your first consult with me to go over those results. And then you'll get your post-test as well as your anti-inflammatory meal plan, which comes with a grocery list and recipes as well. So that's great. And we'll do a food journal so I can kind of see what you're eating, when you're eating it, and I can evaluate that and give you some tips and ideas there as well. And then month 2 and 3, you'll be doing your food journal, tracking your food, your drink, your movement, symptoms, all of those things that are all really good clues to help me be able to help you. And then the last part will be that post-test and final review. So at the end of the 3 months, you'll take your post-test, we'll schedule your final consult to go over and review your results, and then go from there. So it's a total value of $520 if you get all that included together, and all we're charging you tonight is $150 just for those 3 months supply of omegas. All right, so just to recap, the inflammation study, the inflammation panel, and the inflammation bundle are all 3 options that you can use to take action tonight. So those are ways that we're going to be able to measure your progress. So we're going to start out, do some testing, look at that, and measure your progress. And then also the anti-inflammatory meal plan, recipes, grocery list, food journal, that's included with any 3 of those bundles. If you decide to do any 3 of those, you'll get those. Those are included. And then, of course, we want you to keep up with your chiropractic care. That's going to support your detox and healing as well. So definitely the goal is less inflammation, more energy, right, and then a better you.
All right, so final word here. I know we went through a ton of information, but the circle there, talked about align your spine, proper nervous system function controls everything, controlling your, nourishing your body, giving it the proper fuel that it needs for that anti-inflammatory nutrition, the reset. If you need to reset, We have some options in that process, or tonight that you can take home and take action and find out what's going on. And then the natural healing, body's innate recovery. So we want the body healing by itself, the way it's supposed to, not attacking itself, not doing crazy things, putting diseases places. So if we can get that, help you get that working better, that's what we want to do. When your spine is aligned and body is nourished, you're going to heal from within. That's the whole goal of tonight, to get that body healing better than what you are right now.
All right. So I am going to go over the checkout sheet with you. So if you guys want to take a peek at those, we will go over that. Grab that real quick. All right. So on the top is the inflammation study. So if you're interested in being a part of that inflammation study, we want you to circle that. And then your total will be $150 for that. You can put that in the very end. That'll help our staff add up your totals for you. If you decide you also want to do the inflammation panel, that is on there. You see the values are listed there, the prices today. We have discounted those for you guys today for attending our workshop. And you can total that up there. And then the last one is the inflammation bundle. And so if you're wanting to do some testing yet, you want to do the omega-3, that's going to be vitamin D, a 1-month supply of omegas. It comes with the anti-inflammatory meal plan and a consult as well. So you can kind of look through that and evaluate what you're ready to do tonight. And then on the bottom, we have some additional things. So if you're wanting to test vitamin D and that's not a part of something that you're wanting to do, you can add that on, and we've discounted that for you tonight. And then also, we do have a new book that we want to show you guys. So this is something that you can pre-order. This is our the 5 Essentials to Real Health. So this book is really including of a lot of things. There's over 75 food recipes. There's recipes for like DIY home care products. There's a lot of great information in here on just what to look out for. Looking at the Max Food Pyramid. So if you remember the food pyramid of the 80s that came out, right? That was really backwards. Max Living redid that and shows you, here's what we're actually supposed to be eating, right? Not a lot of those grains, which they used to say 10 to 12 grains a day, right? No. So this is all redone. So that's in there for you. Yep. And then there are Eating Out Guide, Core, and the Advanced Nutrition Plan. Lots of really great stuff in here. So I've got some copies up here. If you guys want to come and take a peek at them, see if that's something you're interested in. Those are $25 today. So just definitely a good tool for you to be able to empower yourself as well. And then, let's see. Oh, the recipes for anti-inflammatory shots. So you tried a couple shots tonight that we put together. If you liked those and you're thinking maybe you want to try some of those out, or you wanted the recipe, you got my business card in the packet, and on the back there's a couple scan QR codes. If you scan the code for Functional Health, that one will take you out to our Functional Health link tree, which will have the list of anti-inflammatory recipes. There's 13 out there, so there's some more fruity ones. There's like a turmeric one, so you can kind of check those out and see about making some of those recipes. There's a link to a lot of other resources on there as well, so we wanted to have you guys to have that. And yeah, anything else? You guys have questions?
Dr. Miller, can you go over the first option on that checkout sheet, please?
What is the first? Oh yeah, the most important one for guests. Guests in here. If you, how many guests do we have? Any guests? Who's not a patient right now? Yeah, are you guys? Okay, raise your hand. Yeah, I'll put you on the spot now. If you're not getting adjusted and want to get evaluated, so the first visit we do those nerve scans, get an X-ray taken. If needed, have a consult. And anytime we do events, we do that at a reduced rate. So it's $50. Our normal fee is $240 for that. So take advantage of coming in and getting an evaluation. We'll sit down and go through everything with you. Then you can decide, yes, I want to continue, or nope, thanks for the information. So make sure you take advantage of that for the guests.
Another question.
Yes.
If somebody is taking their omegas right now, do they need to discontinue their supplement before they take their test?
They do not. Nope, we're just gonna test your level right where you're at right now,
Yep.
and that's fine if you're still, if you're already taking omegas. Good for you.
Yeah, if you do the test, what we want to do is whatever you're doing right now, don't change anything. All we were going to do is add in this supplement, and then we want to see what the changes are. So we don't want you changing anything. Obviously, eating better, doing that, but we don't want to have you just wholesale change anything. We would just want to add this in and to see what the results are. So if you decide to do that, you get the 2 free tests, the pre and post. To be able to see what your changes are.
Kevin, I was going to say, I took the test, and it was a 3.67 before, and I jumped the gun a little bit at 60 days. I retested
Yeah,
and went to a 7.4.
7 points, so doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50% better. Yeah,
Just taking the supplement. That's the only thing I changed, but
Yeah.
I didn't wait the 90 days.
Yeah.
did it in 60.
All right.
If I want to get signed up with the testing kit tonight, what is that process? What I need to do with my sheet?
All right, so yes, what you need to do is you need to circle, right, which ones you want to do, total those up. We're going to bring them up to the front desk, and the front desk is going to start checking you out.
Bring them over to
To
Over
the-
here?
the testing table.
Oh,
over
the
there.
testing table.
Leah and Mel first.
Oh, see me. Okay. So see Leah and Mel first, the testing table. They're going to give you your test kit. They're going to give you your omega supplements, and then you can go up to the front, check out with the front desk ladies, and then you'll be ready to go. Yep.
Do you know if this is FSA or HSA eligible?
The testing?
Yeah.
Yes. So if you have FSA or HSA funds, usually people have pretty good luck doing with using their funds for testing, any kind of functional test that we have, and the supplements.
But the testing is free tonight. but it's-
Testing's free tonight.
Don't always.
Right, but if you guys do the inflammation panel, then that's something that you could use for FSA and use your funds for that, right? But yes, if you're doing the study, those two tests are free tonight.
Is the information panel testing also tonight, or is that a take-home?
It's not a take home. That's going to be something where, when you mark that you want that and you pay for it, then I'm going to contact you to come in, and then I'm going to go over all of that with you. It's going to be actually at LabCorp. This is the only test that we actually have where we send you out to get that done. Otherwise, most of our lab testing are, something to take home. This one's going to be at LabCorp, so I'll give you all the instructions to go get that done. You won't have to prick your finger and do all the things at home, right? All that blood, so you'll be able to do that with LabCorp. So, yeah, good question.
Is there any side effects of omega-3 taking these
No.
if you're doing a blood thinner?
Yeah. If you're on Coumadin or something like that, we'd want to kind of control your dosages, but no, it's all benefit.
Are we able to find this presentation or the information, like on the website or a link or something like that?
We have it recorded. Are we gonna?
Well, just
Yeah.
like, are you talking about this, the presentation?
Just
presentation.
everything we saw tonight,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that we can refer back to it?
Yeah, we'll figure out how to get that to you. First step was recording it.
Yeah, we
You know
get.
what, April, you can probably post the presentation on your link tree.
Yes, I can put that on the link tree. So just the same place I was telling you about earlier. For the recipes, you can go there for that. Yep, I'll get that done.
What is the normal dosage? How many
No,
capsules
yep,
per day?
two. So, yep, the dosage will be 2. Yeah, and like some of those studies were dose dependent. So these are, what are it, 3 grams per dose for 2 capsules. So some of them were 8 grams. So they were taking like 5 or 6 a day of these. But with you guys, just two a day to see what the changes are.
With food,
Yeah.
without food?
Yep, you can take them with food. Yeah, yep, whenever.
And same time or split it?
Same time. Same time is fine. Yeah. Yep. Just getting it in.
Do you have a question, Katie?
Katie.
Oh. Yes.
Want to walk through what the test is, like how they do the test, like what that involves?
Which one are you talking about?
The blood spot.
Oh, okay. The Omega?
Yep.
Yes. So the Omega test, super simple. You're gonna prick your finger. The kit has everything for you. It has a little, what do you call those?
Lancet.
Lancet. The little lancet, and you'll press it. I had to have my daughter do mine because I kept pulling away. So you might have to have someone do it for you. But yep, you just a quick prick, and then you take your blood droplets and you put it on there's a little sheet that you put them on. There's some circles. You want to fill the circles. So if one drop doesn't fill the circle, add another, right, until it spreads out and fills those circles. And then you just let it dry. And then you literally just pop it in a little envelope and put it in the regular mail. It's that simple. In about a week, we get results. And so when I get your results, I'll send you a quick text and it'll say, hey, I'm ready to review your results. Let us know when you can schedule. You'll come in for a quick meeting. We'll sit down, go over your results, and then I'll give you your extra stuff that come with the study, and then you'll go on your way.
But we don't wait to take.
What's that?
The omega, they
Oh, for the omega, it's only one. I'm thinking of vitamin D. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we don't wait to take it, start taking omega when we go home.
So you'll want to do your test first, and
Yeah,
then start
that
your
test.
omega.
Even though we don't know what our results are.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Yep, because we're just going to do 3 straight months of the supplements, just the 2 that it recommends, and then we'll look at your level at the end and see what it is.
Is there a collection video? Iconic Fun video?
I believe so. Actually, yes, there is. And so there's a Yoli link that I can send everyone that shows
I just want to
the
make sure that
collection.
you don't put your fingerprint on.
Yes.
You don't want to put your
You're
fingerprint
gonna,
on it.
yes.
You let it
Redo
drop.
all over again.
Yeah, because that'll hemolyze, so you want to just let the blood drop onto the little spot. Yep.
And you'll need to register their tests. Is that what-
Yes, so when you get your test, there's a little spot on the back. They're going to write down the test kit registration number, and then that'll come to me, and I'll register it afterwards. Yep, I'll be doing that.
So then they don't scan the code inside the test.
You won't need to do that. No, you'll just take the test. I'll register it for you. Okay? Good, good. I know, right? Any other questions? You guys had some
Yeah.
good ones.
I like that.
Good questions. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks for coming.